Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sports Channel. I'm your host Mark Philpott and it's great to have you with us today. If you're a newbie to the show, welcome. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram under the Global Sports Channel. You can follow all of our content and our posts by checking those out. On the show, we talk to people all over the world about sports and lots of professional sports people, and we get to some of the home truths about what's going on in the professional sporting world. Today, we're going to be talking about the Olympic Games. Yes, we're just a few days away from the opening ceremony in Tokyo of a Games which is dividing opinion around the world, and there's a lot of people that think these Games should not be taking place this particular year. Maybe a postponement for another year or slotting them into the 2024 schedule on the calendar. However, I thought it would be a good idea if we actually spoke to a local Japanese person who's living in Japan and find out what they think and their community thinks about the Tokyo Games starting next week. So my guest today is coming to us live from Japan. So let's get over and meet him right now. So it's a very warm welcome to the Global Sports Channel today to Joe and Yuki Maie from Japan. Hello, how are we? Mushi mushi.
Hi, how are you? I'm fine, very fine.
Very nice to see you both, and thank you for joining me on the Global Sports Channel today. The first question I have, Joe, for you is, did you go surfing today?
Today, not today, but maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we start the show any further, I just want to let everybody know who's watching the show across the world. We're going to 103 countries today watching our show across the world. So a lot of people going to be listening to you both. Whereabouts in Japan are you living?
We are living in Fujisawa, a little bit close to the beach. Yeah.
Fujisawa. Now, for people who don't know where that is, I decided to make a little map. And here we are. We've got Fujisawa as part of the Kanagawa district in Japan.
Yes.
So south west of Tokyo. And how far from Tokyo, Joe, is Fujisawa?
Actually, an hour from Tokyo, almost, yes.
Is that by fast train, is it? By bullet train from Tokyo?
Yes, a bullet train, and maybe 40 minutes, 15 minutes. And hour and a half by car.
Hour and a half by car, okay. And one of the reasons you were telling me that you live in this beautiful area is because it's very close to the beach for surfing. Is that right?
Absolutely.
How long have you been surfing for?
Well, I mean, I started from my age at 17, so almost how many?
40 years.
40 years.
Almost 40 years of surfing. And where's some of your favorite places in the world to go surfing?
Well, I think it's Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
And Bali, it's a also good place.
Right.
So,
okay.
And of course, Australia.
Australia. You've been down here doing a bit of surfing as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Very, very good. And is surfing got a big culture in Japan? Are there a lot of people surfing in Japan these days? Yes,
nowadays many young people try to enjoy surfing. Very how can I say, it's easy access, and then easy enjoy the play surf. How can I say, it's many people like to surf.
And what about you, Yuki? Are you been out there on the surfboard as well?
No, not me.
Not you, but you have tried before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I nearly drowned.
Well, don't worry, Yuki. You're in good company because I think I nearly drowned the few times that I tried to go surfing as well. So that's good. We wanted to have a conversation with you both today about the Olympic Games, and we're only 1 week away from the start of the Olympic Games in Japan. And there's been a lot of talk around the world about these particular Olympics. We're still in the middle of this COVID-19 crisis around the world. So why don't we start off by just talking about the COVID-19 situation in Japan today, and what can you tell us about the last few days and weeks of what's happening in Japan with COVID-19?
Well, so far,
It's increasing a little.
increasing
Increasing a little.
little bit. Yeah.
It's about 3,000 people a day
3,000 per day.
diagnosed as COVID.
Yep.
Yeah. It was up like 9,000 like half a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was the peak in Japan. So Japan is relatively low. 9,000 is the I think the peak.
Right.
Then it decreased
Mm-hmm.
like 1,000 a day, and then now it is increasing like 3,000 a day.
Okay. And has it been increasing for a while now? Is it getting more and more every day at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Like past 1 month, it's been increasing little by little.
Right.
So yeah, we've been under a not a lockdown, but
Emergency.
call, under emergency call. So we cannot. I mean, the government asked the restaurants to
Do not serve the alcohol and operation up to until 8 p.m. or
Okay.
so many restriction is coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I'm understanding that these emergency situations has been put out also to protect the Olympics. Is that right? Was part of this decision to go into the state of emergency to do with the Olympic Games?
Yes.
Right. The government decided most of the no audience for the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no spectators, right? Yeah.
For the past 1 year and 3 or 4 months, what the government is doing is based on how to do the Olympics. I mean,
Right.
that's what we feel.
Yeah.
That it is all based on how they can perform. They can do the Olympics. So
it's
that's why some people are angry. They're upset.
really upset. Yeah. Now let's talk about the COVID situation. Has the Delta strain of COVID come to Japan yet? Have you got the new strain that's very infectious?
Yes.
You have.
I don't know the numbers, but they are increasing.
Right. And how is the vaccination rollout program going in Japan? Have a lot of people been vaccinated so far?
Approximately 20 to 30% in between.
20 to 30%. Okay.
Mostly to older people, people over 65.
The priority is from the older people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then probably up to over 65 years, the people, I think it's more than 50% already vaccinated. Yeah. Then less than 60 years, then still 10 to 20% maybe.
Right. And a lot of people ending up in the intensive care with COVID. Is there a lot of people in hospital who are having to go onto the ventilators situation?
That was the situation several months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's been a little low.
Okay.
Not that much intensive now.
Yeah.
But there was such a situation 2 or 3 months ago, especially in Osaka. Not in Tokyo, in Osaka. It was quite intensive.
Okay. And what about in your area there of Fujisawa? Has there been many cases around your area particularly?
Kanagawa Prefecture is the second to Tokyo now. Like there were 400 people infected yesterday.
Just yesterday. Wow.
Yes, yes, it's quite near Tokyo, so.
Yeah.
But I don't hear that these hospitals are in such an intense situation. Not so much.
Okay. And what about the vaccine? Have you had the vaccine yourself?
I got the coupon.
Coupon.
Yeah, and maybe August.
In
I
August.
would,
Okay.
yeah.
And in Japan, have they made a decision to roll it out to the elderly people, as you said, first, and then they're going by different age group? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, good.
And what have they done for the people that are going to be volunteers at the Olympic Games? Have they been vaccinated or have they been looked after?
I think so.
I don't think the volunteers are.
It's not 100%, but must be prioritized to have a vaccination.
I think people really in the higher position is vaccinated, but there are like 10,000. I mean, several thousand volunteers. I don't think they're vaccinated.
They're not vaccinated.
Unless they're over 65. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's based on the age group then, by the sound of it.
I think so. Like the normal volunteer people. I don't think they have any.
Now, on the other hand, I heard that many of the volunteers cancel the volunteer.
And was that because of their concern over? Do you think they quit the games because of their concern over COVID, or they just didn't want to support the games anymore?
Both.
I think it's both.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a lot of people that have quit being a volunteer because they just don't want the games to go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Right. So it sounds like it's been a difficult situation, Yuki. You said that the government has been making decisions for the last year or so based on the Olympic Games. Can you say some of the other decisions that have been made because of the Olympics?
Well, because in Japan, not so many infections compared to like USA and Europe, but and especially in Tokyo, when there was not so many infections, and the hospitals were okay, but they sometimes when the people infected increases, the government asks the restaurants to stop operating in the evenings, and like the concerts, those events has to be canceled, and like we feel that it is because of the Olympics. The government doesn't say so, but many people feel that you don't have to be so strict. And but many events has been canceled, and people are suffering. Yes, and so and then why cancel our events and do Olympics? That's what I think many people feel.
Yeah. Double standards. Yeah. So what is happening with other sporting competitions? Like, are there football leagues taking place at the moment across the country, or baseball, or are those things happening at the moment?
Yes. This year, they have been smaller.
Actually, they're restricted to maybe 50% of the audience. I mean, then up to 5,000 people in one place.
Yeah.
There's a kind of, restriction they have.
Right. And has there been any evidence of increased cases of COVID because of these sports events? Have these sports events created more COVID cases?
No.
No? Okay.
No such news, because we're all masked.
Yep.
And we're restricted to like sing or dance on those events. So we have not heard of any news at those sports events.
Okay.
So, and you may know that in Japan, actually, put on the mask is very popular. It's not only from the COVID, but in Japan,
In winter.
in winter, yes, they usually put on the mask.
Usually you put on the mask. So that's really interesting because from a cultural point of view, it's something that you feel more comfortable with. But if you ask somebody in Australia to wear a mask, it's something very different for them to do. Yeah.
I see.
So lots of people are wearing masks and they don't have any problem with it in Japan.
Well, not any. some people refuse. Some people are tired of it, but compared to like Australia, I think it's okay.
So when you go out to the shopping, do you see everybody wearing masks when you go to the shops and things? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Even go for a walk. I think most people are in masks.
Yeah. Okay.
Outdoors. Yes.
Well, before we turn this into a COVID-19 show, we should talk a little bit more about the Olympic Games. So, starting in 1 week's time, do you think there's going to be a lot of support once the games get started from Japan? Do you think people will start to change their mind about the games once it's underway?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe they watch TV.
Yeah. Of course, most of the, we respect athletes themselves, because they prepare for 4 or 5 years for the Olympic Games. They want to show or perform their best performance in the Olympic Games. Of course, we expect it to exciting to see their performance. So that is it doesn't matter. I mean, no, different between professional game or Olympic game. Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of people are against the games at the moment, though? Is there a lot of talk amongst the Japanese community that they don't want the games to go ahead?
In India, yes, on TV and on internet, there are a lot of arguments and criticism, and some people say it's not a big deal. The COVID is not a big deal. Some people say so.
Right.
So I think the opinions are separated.
Do you think there's more people that want to have the games or more people that don't want to have the games?
It's according to the research.
Poll.
Yeah.
Poll.
Poll. Ankei.
Poll. Yep.
Yeah, almost 50% is positive and half and half.
Half and half. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it may be the case that when the games start, because everybody's in the emergency situation at home watching television, more people are going to be interested in the games, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also in Tokyo, they decided to close the public viewing.
No
Even in a public viewing, there are so many people get together, so they decided to do not open the public viewing.
So no one's going to be able to go to a community place to watch the games on a big screen or anything like that at all.
Yes, mostly they're all canceled.
Yeah.
But the Baha, Baha?
IOC chairman.
Yeah.
He said like 2 days ago that if the COVID decrease, why don't you get the audience in?
Yeah.
And that was a kind of a
It's unbelievable.
criticized.
Unbelievable.
So I think many people are criticizing the IOC because they're saying
They're thinking
whatever
about
they
the money,
want.
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we feel.
I think it's all about the money, Joe, and that's all they're interested in is the money, and they put on this great facade that they're worried about the athletes and they want to look after the athletes, but all they want is the television revenue so the IOC can continue doing what it's always done. I think that's what it really comes down to. There's been a lot of people that I've been talking to who simply said, why don't we make Tokyo Games happen in 2024 and then push all the other games back for the next 4 years? And to me, that seemed to be the most logical decision to push it back, because then Japan can still do the games and everybody can go, and we can have a lot easier. But it seems that it has to be this year because they want to make the money from the games.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So what about yourselves? Are you going to be watching the Olympics? Is it something that you're going to be interested in?
Well,
you like sports.
I like.
He likes watching sports, so I think he will. He likes TV.
Right, right, yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things. If it's there and it's happening, do you think it's going to be the same though? There's not going to be any spectators. There's going to be empty stadiums. It's going to feel very different, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts around that? Do you think it's going to be the same atmosphere? How can it be the same with no people there?
Like the sumo, do you know sumo?
Sumo game. Is that sumo wrestling?
We've been doing that last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the athletes feel, but on TV, we can still enjoy watching the sports.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it's going to be a disadvantage for the athletes by not having spectators there?
I think so. In the mentally, people who play then feel something, power from the audience. That is true. Of course. So watching the sports, including the how can I say? Even my son also play baseball. Yeah. Then last week we went to their summer game.
Yeah.
But lose, but we enjoy the how can I say?
You enjoyed being there. Yeah. Yeah.
The only parents allowed to go there.
Allowed to go. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be, I would imagine it's going to be very difficult for some athletes. I think some athletes will cope okay, but I think there's going to be a lot of athletes that performance is going to be affected by not having some crowd and some spectators there. Do you think they might change the decision once the games get started, that they might let some people come later in the games?
I think there's a lot of criticism to that. Because they're changing all the plans will confuse people.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's likely that they'll do that.
So what's happened with all the people that have paid for tickets to go to the different events? Have they been refunded?
Yes, they're going to be refunded from now on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were there a lot of tickets sold? Do you know? Were the ticket sales very good?
Yes. I mean, like last 2 years
ago,
it was very difficult.
Yeah, difficult
to buy.
We also enter entry. I mean, on bell.
Right. Okay. And
yes, it was very difficult. It was very popular.
It was very popular 2 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody rushed on the internet.
Right. No access.
Yeah, no access.
And what happened then when COVID started? Were ticket sales immediately impacted? Because obviously it was postponed from last year to this year, so that must have had a big impact as well.
I think they were all sold already, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think when COVID occurred, tickets were all sold.
Oh, okay.
Sold.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So they're having to refund 100% of the tickets.
Yes,
I believe so.
Wow. Wow. Now, the other thing that's obviously happened is there's been a huge cost to the Japanese government in terms of these games, both with the infrastructure and also with the delay from last year. How do the local people feel about the huge costs now associated with these games?
Yes.
It's a quite, it's a cost is coming from the tax, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. Just spend money.
Yes. So the Olympics held in Tokyo like maybe 60 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
that was a great success.
Yes, yes.
So some people, expect the similar thing to happen. But the Olympics has been, decided to held in Tokyo again like 7 years ago, and there were many problems occurring during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So some people expected, but it didn't happen as expected.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the situation is nobody predicted COVID-19 was going to be a situation. What were your thoughts around the postponement of the games from last year? Did you think it was a good idea to postpone the games 1 year, or would you like have seen the games to be postponed longer than 1 year?
Well, at the time, the postpone the game 1 year is I thought it was a good idea, but we didn't expect, kind of, COVID situation is more longer. Then nowadays, still, increasing, the getting worse. So it's kind of, a third wave or fourth wave in the COVID
In Japan.
in Japan, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
fourth wave.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So maybe, as you mentioned, that postpone 4 years, maybe it's a more better idea.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think one of the sad situations that's going to occur is that a lot of these athletes will come to Japan. They're not going to have an opportunity to see Japan like they normally would have if they came to Japan under normal circumstances. A lot of the athletes, they've been told they have to leave Japan after they finish their competition, so they're not even allowed to stay in Japan to see the country and to perhaps have a holiday. Do you think that's a sad thing also, that the athletes that are coming to Japan are not going to see the country in the way that they could have?
Yeah, I think they missed the opportunity to go around the city or feel Japan itself. So so many restriction. They came here and under the restricted condition. So I don't think it's a good, of course. So.
But I think many people in Japan are feeling that everyone is under this situation, not only the athletes.
Yeah.
So it can't be helped.
Yeah, right. And are there a lot of events with the games that are outside of Tokyo? Like, are there a lot of other cities involved in hosting the events?
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of the other cities where the hosting is going to be?
Some of the cities, the host city cancel
the audiences. They cancel the audiences.
Yep.
But I think two or three prefectures allow audiences.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be some spectators then at some of the events. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about surfing, Joe? Is the surfing taking place near you?
Well, the place is in Chiba.
It's in Chiba. Okay.
Yeah, but I heard that it's no audience.
No audience.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is going to be the legacy of these games? What do you think people will be saying in 1 year's time from now about the Tokyo Olympic Games?
Maybe like the Rio Olympic. I remember that there were many problems before the Olympics. But after the Olympic, during the Olympics, we enjoyed them on TV. So I think they can enjoy it in some extent.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think Japanese people are very Yes, there are some. I think there are some success.
Mm.
I mean, people can enjoy on TV
Okay.
for athletes.
Yeah. So you think there's going to be a positive impact eventually about the games?
I think so. Maybe I'm not sure, but many of the media will intentionally control the kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So not. I feel that the TV program said the positive, increasing the positive comments so far.
Right. Okay. So what we're seeing is probably not the true story of how the situation is in Japan today. You think there's more positive story from the media because they want us to be more positive about it?
Yeah, I don't know. In Japanese TV, I think there will, but I don't know in the media abroad.
Yeah.
What they'll say. But in Japan, when Olympic happen, they're so positive. They cheer so much.
Yeah.
So the media in Japan. So I think that will happen. Yes, but there's also internet media.
Mm-hmm.
Like YouTube.
Yep.
So I think there'll be negative things, broadcastings as well.
Yeah. Well, it's very hard to, I guess, understand the true story because if you're somebody like me who's not on the ground in Japan, you don't know what's actually going on. That's why I wanted to talk to you both today, because I thought it was a great opportunity to hear your story. You're living in Japan every day. You're Japanese. You can understand what the local people are feeling. So it's always interesting to get your perspective on what is happening. What about the younger people? Is your son excited about the Olympic Games?
No.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So how old's your son, Joe?
My son, actually, elder one, 19 years old.
19.
Yeah.
And 16.
And 16.
And my daughter is
13.
Okay, so 19, 16, and 14.
Yeah.
And they're playing baseball?
Yes, the second one, the baseball, and the elder doing
bodybuilding.
Kind of bodybuilding.
He wants to look like Dad.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. And so they're not interested in the Olympics?
No.
So why is that? Because they've got other interest in their life, or they just don't like the fact the Olympics are going on in Japan, or what is their feeling?
Okay. Yes, there's not such festive feeling for normal people.
Yeah.
And we're kind of frustrated when there's an emergency call and the sports events get canceled. So we feel that it's because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think they don't have very positive feelings toward the Olympics.
Yeah. So is it fair to say the Olympics are being blamed for some of the bad news that's happening in Japan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get you back online after the Olympics, and you can tell us what happened and how Japan embraced or didn't embrace the Olympic Games, and we can talk about it again if you'd like to come back on the show for a little chat after that.
Oh,
Well, listen, thank you both very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It's been very good to catch up with you again, Joe. Who's the little puppy?
Yeah. Not a puppy.
Sorry about that.
It's not a puppy?
Yes.
It's almost 5 years.
5 years. Pick him up, Joe. Show us the puppy to the audience. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's running around.
He's running around.
He's running around. Oh, so she's a girl.
Let's ask. Oh, there's a little cutie. What's the name of the doggy?
It's Grace.
Grace. Hello, Grace. Yeah. How are you? You're on Global TV, Grace. And does Grace want the Olympic Games to go ahead? Is Grace excited about the Olympics?
Right.
Very good. Well, listen, thank you very much again for today. And as I say, I'll be in contact with you again after the games, and we can talk about whether or not it was a great success for the Japanese people. Huh?
Okay.
We'll spectate. Okay.
Joe, Yuki, thank you very much for your time today.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
There we are. That was Joe and Yuki Maie talking to me from Fujisawa in the Kanagawa district in Japan. And as you can hear from them, there's some reservations, let's say it that way, about the Olympic Games taking place. But they feel as though the Japanese people will finally embrace the Games once they get underway, and we might see a positive outcome. But you heard it from them, what their thoughts are around what's happened and transpired over the last 2 years in Japan as the Games have been politicised and also implemented to take place this year in 2021. So that's it for this particular show. Thank you very much for tuning into the Global Sports Channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and also hit the little bell notification so you'll be notified every time that we post a video. I'm going to be speaking to Joe and Yuki after the games, and we'll get a little bit of a recap on what they thought about the games and how the Japanese people either accepted them or didn't accept them in Japan. Hit us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, all under the Global Sports Channel. And I'll be back again soon right here on the Global Sports Channel with another episode for you all. Until then, everybody, stay safe, stay well and stay happy. Bye for now.